Hello and welcome to this episode of The Big Picture. Big Picture, Big Conversations. This is where depth meets humor. Merry Christmas and a very happy new year from wherever you're watching us. Think of this episode as a Big Picture Wrapped, where we put everything that has happened in the year 2025 in good perspective, very briefly and in quick fire, so you get to know what happened in Kenya and the region in general this year. For this episode, I'm Tom Mukhwana, first of all, your lead host, and I'm joined by my co-host, Justine.
Wanda.
Justine Wanda. Wamepan?
Sijui.
Yeah, but we'll make sure they pan.
Yeah. Hope. Maybe the black screen. Where's the...
But you're joining Justine and I for this episode, and we're not doing it the two of us because we don't have enough gravitas to do it. For this episode, we are joined by none other than Hussein Khaled. He's a human rights activist, lawyer, and the CEO of Voices of Community Activities and Leaders of Africa, or Vocal Africa. He works to empower African communities to understand and defend their rights across the continent. But there's nowhere he does it best than his country, Kenya. Hussein, was that good enough?
Perfect. Fantastic.
Brilliant. Hussein Khaled, it's been a hell of a year, Sindio.
Wow. I don't know. Maybe the only other year that can compete with this is last year, of course, when we had the Gen Z uprising. But yes, this has been a very difficult year. And we hope that with all those difficulties, there will be progress. Yeah.
So for this conversation, Hussein, we don't want to end on a horrible note. So we'll start with like the grim stuff, Cindy or Justine, then work our way slowly to the good news, because it's Christmas, man. You don't want to leave everyone feeling... Yeah. So the big issue, obviously, this year, as it was last year, is human rights, Cindy. And you, Hussein, run an organization that is all over the country. I think right before we went on air with recording this, you spoke about having networks across the country. Justine and I work through screens.
Yes.
We almost never show up in the streets unless we need to.
Speak for yourself.
I don't always show up in the streets unless I need to, but you're always in the streets. This year we've seen violence, political violence, not only in Kenya, but also in
the neighboring
Tanzania,
countries.
and Uganda. Next year, we don't know, hopefully not. But the big issue this year, two names come when I think about human rights. Boniface Kariuki and Albert Ojwang, and also Brian Odhiambo.
Yeah.
What would you say about human rights in Kenya this year?
Well, there are two sides of every coin. And when you look at the Kenyan situation, it's also the same. So as you said, it's not all gloom, but there are also many atrocities that have been committed. So, you've mentioned the Brian Odhiambo in January, the young man in Nakuru who was picked by KWS officers, and to date, we're still searching for him. Albert Ojwang, and they told us he hit his head in the police cell, only for us to actually confirm that he was beaten to death, And then after that, while people were protesting and saying this is too much, Boniface shot at point blank range by a police officer.
On camera.
On camera, broad daylight, in the streets, not even hiding or anything. They shot him, and I think a week later, he's no more. So this is the sad situation we find ourselves in. As Kenyans, I believe we know for a fact that the human rights situation has deteriorated drastically. But as you said, it's not all gloom. There's the other side of it. And the other side of it is that Kenyans have now woken up. We could say that, You can't, violate rights. You cannot oppress the masses and people just keep quiet. So we have seen particularly the younger generation, the Gen Zs, coming out in the open, whether it's in the streets or it's on social media, calling out the oppressors, demanding justice, demanding for an end to corruption, And I believe that is the brighter side of things. We are not where we were last year or the year before. That awareness, that readiness to take action, for me, that is what I take home from this year, that, we're in a better place than we were a few years back.
I'm going to question you a bit on the political side of things.
Sure.
That's later on.
Sure.
Justine, human rights, and you, Hussein, can chime in as well. Human rights is not only about the right to life. There's a lot more, right?
Yeah.
Economic rights,
of course,
and rights to education, right to good healthcare. Yeah. How's that been doing?
I think this year has, like the headlines I've been reading this year have just, I think they've messed me up. Because I remember earlier this year reading that there's a school, I think, either it's in Homa Bay or in Kisumu, one of the Western Nyanza regions, where literally a school was given, I think, 87 shillings capitation.
Yes.
Bro, utoka nini na 87 bob? Like that, hata ya kutoa haiko kwa equation. Like that's how bad, like the education in this country is being violated.
Yeah.
And then we saw with SHA, people were very vehement about it not working. Everyone was like, this particular thing is very critical. Like SHA is about, it's supposed to be about healthcare, but and if you look at all the headlines, it's about registering people and like how many people are on the platform. And I'm like, can those people pay? Do they have the jobs? Are they getting? Do they have the jobs to pay into the healthcare system? And are they getting anything back? There's an old man who went, I think he was interviewed by Nation, and he was very vocal about his cancer treatments not being fulfilled because SHA was not working.
Yeah.
We even saw cancer patients having to protest. Like, why are people on chemotherapy having to take a break from a very, very difficult disease to actually go out and ask for their rights? And then there's also, like we've seen even with sexual and gender-based violence, there's supposed to be a report that was supposed to be released. I don't know if Hussein has seen it, but we have not seen it. Even when we were with Mwikali last week, she was very adamant about them doing all this back work of like making sure that these issues are actually taken seriously and them not getting even a glimpse of the report that's supposed to either not just help, but like restructure how sexual and gender-based violence is looked at in the country. So honestly, there's been so many different kinds of violations of human rights across different sectors, and on top of that, we add the affordable housing, where so many people have been evicted from their homes, and they're being told, oh, shikai 150,000, and good luck with finding a place to stay. Most of them, their jobs are either here or like they work on daily wages. They have to relocate. They have to take care of their families. There's school coming up next year. It's just so much that's been taken from people. We need a better country. Like, we cannot actually go on with this trajectory.
That's obviously to mean that there are so many facets and none of them, at least most of them, are not being met by the government.
Yes.
Hussein, let's get straight into the politics. You said that Kenyans have woken up. Have we really?
I think so. And I was at a different show this morning, and the question that was asked, is it that the violations have increased, or is it that there is more awareness and people are coming out to, raise concerns whenever they happen? And I think it's a bit of both. Yes, Kenyans are now loud. I mean, especially on social media, Kenyans are really loud, but they're also loud in terms of taking action. When there are evictions, they come out, they say no. We've seen people coming out in Mombasa, for instance. You were talking of socioeconomic rights, protesting. There's no water. We're from Mombasa, and we know that in Mombasa, the last time I saw water from my grandma's tap must have been in the 90s. The last time we saw water coming out of the taps.
I remember even in school we had to use a desalination plant.
Exactly.
Why are they not moved?
And that's the second city. That's supposed to be like the main tourist hub.
Yes.
That's where our tourism is anchored. And this is the sorry situation, So I think that we really need to encourage Kenyans to come out even more. And in terms of who is supposed to come out, definitely the youth are the leaders of today as well as tomorrow. Hii mambo ya kuambiwa, you are the leaders of tomorrow now. So the youth must come out, particularly the Gen Zs, because they have much more to lose than the older generations. They've probably done their bits. They're now either enjoying or complaining
Yeah.
about their situations.
Yeah.
But for the younger generation, they have everything to lose. And they must, ensure that they don't get the same life as their fathers.
Yes.
Or to make sure that those that come after them have better lives than them. So I totally agree with you that, socioeconomic rights, civic rights, we've done well to a certain extent. Go out and register now and make sure you have the right people.
Yes.
But on the socioeconomic front, SHA, you've talked of education.
Yeah.
We don't even know it's CBC, tomorrow it's CBE, and then I don't know what, and it's a mix-up.
Yes.
And these are issues that we need to address urgently if this country is to move forward in the right trajectory.
Hussein, for people to vote, two things have to happen. They have to have alternatives at the ballot, and they have to actually have a registration to vote.
Yep.
Both are not happening right now.
Yes, that's very unfortunate, and I think this is important to say here because this is a show that goes out to many out there, and particularly the young. Please go and register to vote. I think it was the end of November. By the end of November, I think the IBC said they were expecting to have had, they were expecting to register over 6 million voters between when they started and I think the beginning of 2027 when they will close the registration. And by that time, November, they had registered less than 100,000.
It's 140 now.
It's now 140. So hopefully, we hope because we have a whole year. But if you just do the calculations, it's been 3-4 months already. We only have like 12 months to come. And the target is 6 million. And we are now at 140.
It's barely a fraction.
If we follow this, then probably out of 6 million, we'll only get at most 1.5 or 2 million. So by any means, that's way below. It can't be that you went out, you sacrificed, your fellow colleagues were killed, some were maimed, and for what? You then refuse to go register? That would be extremely unfortunate. So the youth out there, particularly Gen Zs, please go out and register to vote. I agree with you.
Is there a candidate, Justine, that people can go to vote?
I think we have choices. Of course, it's not encouraging. I agree with you. I mean, the options we have so far, but you never know.
Yeah.
I mean, just like the protests, just started out of nowhere. You might find someone, Justine might come up tomorrow and people are like, definitely, or Tom, for that matter.
Don't vote
Anything
for a comedian.
is possible.
Look at you pray. Don't vote for a comedian.
What we know is that we still have time. And there's a possibility that there are very good candidates who are buying their time before they announce themselves.
Should they be buying their time, Hussein?
Yeah.
It's all about strategy. I'm not a politician, but I hear in some circles that they're saying it's a bit early now to announce. It's way too early.
Waiting.
Like you'll end up, you have to have enough cash for you to start.
That's true.
Now. But I don't know. But whatever the case, even if these are the only guys who remain till 2027, give us the best of the lot. Sit down, think about whom you have, and give us the best of the lot. That's what we're saying.
I think Justine has a slightly contrary.
I think also I do understand why a lot of young people are not willing to go out and register. Part of it is like the process, like some people don't even know like voting registration is going on. I don't think IBC has invested enough resources in making people aware. So that's probably one of the reasons we've not seen people come out in large numbers. The second reason is the voting registration information that was put out there, most of it was misleading. I went out to register and I had to do like an adventure to like a Dora the Explorer. Is it here? And it's like, no, it's not here. You have to go there. And it was very, not tiring, but I wish I had known. Yeah, exactly. Because if I had any other activities that were slotted for the day, I would not have been able to make it. So the good thing is like I crossed out the entire day. I had faith in whatever it is I was doing, but I think it took me 3 hours in total, just like moving around. But there's so many other people out there who do not know this is happening. They do not, if they go and register, it's the wrong info. And then there are people who don't have IDs. So we have this is a whole subset of people. And then on top of it, there's a voter apathy where it's like, why do we only have to civically participate as voters? Like, why are our voices not being heard now? Why do we have to contend with someone who has no regard for our lives and even start debating who we want to vote for? Like, this should not be an argument.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people are holding the ground for, like, mi sioni kama kuna mtu mzuri wa kuvotia, so I don't think I need to be out there. But also, unfortunately, I really wish the world was more accommodating to our moral grounds and like our moral definitions, because that would have just helped us being like, we are saying no, and the fracture just allows us to like walk right through and vote for someone we want. But unfortunately, the fight is a little different in a democracy.
Yeah.
You have to organize and mobilize for what you want. Yeah.
It's interesting what you're saying, and I can see that, and particularly the Gen Zs, it can be frustrating. I get it. But what the IEBC is doing is just to announce that, first of all, you can do this. So there will be the mass mobilization. We have not gotten there yet.
Okay.
They came to office. There were a number of by-elections to be held. So they prioritized the by-elections. But at the same time, they knew there was a lot of demand for voter registration, so they also made that possible. So right now, you can only register as a voter at IEBC offices. At IEBC offices, so they're like, every constituency has an IEBC office, so that's where you will go. But they said immediately after the by-elections, and we're past the by-elections, they will announce the mass voter registration exercise. So this is where now they will be on TV telling you, go and vote. We are at every bus stop, or and then train people. So that is coming. That is coming, and hopefully it should be much easier. Actually, they should even be able to go to functions where people are, in congregation. They will be going to those places
churches,
and telling people, churches, religious places, come and register. So hopefully, when we get there, we'll do this. But I like this argument, and I think it's important. Like, why do we have to? We know this person is not good. Why are we told you have to choose? Because I agree with that argument, because we have chapter 6 of the Constitution on integrity. Anyone who wishes to vie for any leadership position must meet the requirements of chapter 6, on corruption, on what and all that. But you'll find that someone who actually shot and killed another person is on the ballot paper. Someone who has corruption cases, and I think some of them even convicted.
So many MPs actually.
And they're still, most of the leaders we have today have acquired their wealth in very questionable, let me use that word, I wanted to say criminal, but let me say questionable circumstances. And if we were to apply chapter 6 strictly, that should disqualify
most of
them. So what we need to do is to push our institutions to work. We have the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. Before you, when you present your papers to IBC as a candidate, you have to have been cleared by EACC. Why is the EACC clearing individuals who do not meet the requirements of chapter 6?
Like what happened in Mbere.
Exactly.
Like people are finding out someone has a literal criminal past. Like they are questioned about, I think it's KEMSA?
Yes.
And it's like that guy is like the lead candidate in the area.
So we do have institutions that are supposed to do this. And this is why, for me, we need to mobilize Kenyans. Article 1 of the Constitution is very clear. All power belongs to the people. I mean, sovereign power belongs to the people. So how do the people exercise their sovereign power? When institutions like EACC fail in their mandate, when police who are supposed to be responding to cases across board, they then choose, they are selecting, this one we will go, this one we want to go because it's the opposition. We have to ask questions. We cannot allow that to happen.
I'm just remembering this. Speaking of the police, I'm just remembering completely off politics. But a time like this last year is when Kibet Bull, around this time is when he went missing.
and even
Around 9, 10, December,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah, there were like, I think 6 kids who did celebrate Christmas.
went
with
missing,
yeah.
families,
It's around this time, right?
Yes, around this
Okay.
You're right.
All right. So I just remember that because you mentioned the police not doing their job.
And disappearances, unfortunately, are still happening. You know, this year we've had quite a number. Extrajudicial killings. I mean, we all know Sabasaba alone.
Yes.
This was the worst day in the history of Kenya in as far as protests are concerned.
Yeah.
We had over 40 persons killed on a single day. It has never happened. You know, Sabasaba. So we're talking of numbers. Last year we were saying 60 what? I don't know, 67 or something. This year on a single day, siku moja hivi, we have over 40 people killed.
Yeah.
So the situation is getting worse. But we can't sit and point fingers.
Yeah.
The time has come for Kenyans to take action. And we need also to know that it's not just about us. There are people out there, you were talking of Uganda, Tanzania, who are watching us. And they're, you know, taking that lead from us.
Yes.
Oh, Kenya is doing this, they're out in the streets. You've seen Tanzania. No one expected Tanzania to erupt.
To be the one
I
to
mean,
protest,
Tanzania are supposed to be the good boys in the region.
It's
Polite,
it's
kaka.
perception.
Naomba tafadhali nikushike. That's what we know of Tanzania, but they were out in the streets and thousands were killed, you know? And the inspiration, Kenya. So we must do it not just for ourselves and generations to come, but also for others around us, so that they can also, you know, not be discouraged from making or realizing change in their country.
Speaking of protests, Hussein, this year also in politics we saw the death of Raila Odinga and now an imminent restructuring of the political structure in the country, which is what makes me really upset. To an extent, I'm disappointed that now there's an opportunity to move away from this major personality, and there seems to be no one filling that gap away from the current breed of politicians. That feels like an opportunity missed.
First of all, I think Raila was such a huge figure. He towered over Kenyan politics for such a long time. And people got too comfortable. They were like, he's always going to be here. He will. There's people, even during his death. I remember I was at I went to a restaurant and like the staff there were like, people were actually sobbing and they're like, sasa nani atatupigania? And I'm like, it's you. Like he a big chunk of his work was like figuring out how to mobilize people so that you keep showing up. Because then now that's the lesson you should have taken from the work that part of the work that he did. It's like, you cannot go anywhere if not, it's not a bunch of you actually fighting towards something. And I think that's the miseducation for a lot of people was like, no, we have this very huge political figure who is always going to fight for us or hold the line for us in those spaces where we don't have access. But it's kind of like the shattering of that idea. Like, because he's not here, you've already done so much of the work. It's like you understand the lesson, so you have to keep going. You don't stop. But also, people just don't know what to do. You don't know where to go.
If you look at how things turned out, because last year the Gen Zs came out and told Raila, watch our sisi, we'll do it for you. And they did it, and they did it very well. And Raila was there, you know, and he saw this, and, you know, in some circles, he even advised on how things need to be done and all that. So I think the baton was passed, if you ask me. Yeah, and he saw it, you know, before his death. He lived to see it. And the youth actually even telling him, Baba, you've done enough. You've fought for us for all these years. Let us do it now. You stay at home. So in that sense, it's like he died knowing, I've done my job and I've left a generation that will carry on with this work. I mean, we can't take it away from him. The man was enigmatic, and he was, you know, he was like the mover and shaker of politics for like 2 or 3 decades to speak. So we can't take that away from him. But I also believe that baton was passed, and now it's about, as you said when you're in the restaurant, like, believe it, that now it's you. And you need to take this further ahead, further than where he left us.
Yeah. To move away from Raila now, another huge element this year was goons. Connected to politics, obviously.
Okay, before we get into the goon economy, allow me to just like memorialize a few people from the entertainment industry who also passed away.
Yeah.
There's David Mulwa, who was an author, a screenwriter, a thespian. He was, I believe, a lecturer at Kenyatta University School of Visual and Performing Arts. He did teach some of my friends. I think I attended one of his classes by mistake, but he was like a really, really important figure for a lot of either screenwriters and actors in the country. So may his soul rest in peace. We also lost Betty Bayo. She was an amazing gospel musician. I think she's a humanitarian too, if I'm not wrong. But I think she struggled with cancer for a very long time. So may she rest in peace. And also we have the actor Bilal Wanjau. He was in a lot of Kenyan productions. I cannot name all of the things that I was able to see him in, but he really, you know, like the people who walk into a room and walk onto a stage, and like there's so much life that they breathe into the work that they do, and the acting community really lost a big one this year. So I just wanted to memorialize those people from the entertainment industry. I think there's so many other things that happened, and I am probably forgetting, but I just thought an ode to that particular space was very important.
And we all know someone who's lost someone this year.
Absolutely.
So
for sure.
Our hearts go out to them as well. There's no way, there's no like nice way of going from memorializing people to going to people who are sent out to cause violence on people. But to goons. Go now to the goons story. You both have faced goons. And, right, Justine, you fought someone off?
I didn't fight someone off, but I managed to get away.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Hussein, you've been targeted.
Given a few slaps here and there.
Really?
And then I, somehow managed to just get away during the protest.
Did they follow you or?
I was, I think it was, if it's not Sabasaba, it's one of the protests.
Yes.
And, like you're getting into town. Now you're like looking, so where are guys like, and then you see a crowd. And then you're like, definitely, that's where, So now you're like going there like, hey guys, and then you get there, they're like, I'm like,
walked right to them.
Exactly. And then so they're like, I was like, oh, nini mbaya? And then they came, nyinyi ndio sijui munapanga maandamano, and mavibare kidogo hapo, and only to realize, okay, these are the goons. So now you start like fighting back and what and what. Now unapata kamwanya. Kapenya. So that's what happened. I think it was around Kenyatta Avenue. And I was like, this is what the state is doing, because clearly it's the state. I mean, if you ask me, it's the state. And this is something that we need to discuss, because whenever you go to present notifications to the police that you want to hold a protest, the reason why they have these goons is so that they can have an excuse. They tell you, we can't allow it because you have intelligence, there will be goons. And we have to demystify this myth. It is the police's job to deal with goons, not for me as a protester to cancel my right. I have right to food. I want to go to a hotel to eat. You can't tell me, I'm suspecting there are goons along there. Don't eat. Go home and sleep. That's why you exist, to provide security. People want to go to school. Children, they have a right to education. You are supposed to make sure there's traffic, there's security, so that people exercise their rights. Protesting is also a right under the Constitution. So if you have seen there's danger somewhere, it is your job to get rid of that danger so that I can exercise my right. So this message has to go out very clearly to everyone out there. Do not suspend your rights. Otherwise, there's no purpose of us having the police, because their main responsibility is to ensure Kenyans exercise their rights as guaranteed in the Constitution.
But this seems to be a widespread. It's like these days you have to have goons to mobilize and politically be involved, which is a problem.
Yeah. I totally agree. And unfortunately, we've seen the goon economy, goon culture and all that. It's the politicians who mobilize the goons. And it's unfortunate that our politicians have decided to go that direction. And the worst part is that we have we have security agencies who are supposed to be dealing with this. But unfortunately, most of the time, they're actually either supporting or turning a blind eye on what is happening. And this is where I'm saying, we must have institutions that work. If the police do not work, go home. Let's have a new force, new service that will deliver. But we can't continue with institutions that are incompetent, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Justine, I don't know if you want to add something. Looks like you
Well,
do.
I think the thing that really, the thing I'll say about the Gun economy, I understand like we all love a group activity. I know I do. I love protesting because it makes you feel like you're part of a movement. It's bigger than you. It has this impact. And I think sometimes goons feel the same way too. Because if you read Odipodev's report, like one of the things that stood out, like a lot of them wanted community. They like this is how you make friends, this is how you make money, this is how you're guaranteed the next job. So instead of manufacturing poverty and weaponizing other Kenyans against Kenyans who are also you're technically fighting for the rights of the collective. Instead of weaponizing especially poor Kenyans against other Kenyans, that we should structure an economy that gives people opportunity so that they don't have to end up becoming goons and like taking this very demeaning, because like some of them have even lost their teeth. And Sha is not working.
Some have been killed.
Bro, your teeth are gone, Sha is not working. Dentistry is very, very, very costly. Like this should not be like the gift that people have to so that you can make money and feed your kids and just take care of yourself. We should give enough economic opportunities to a lot of younger Kenyans, people who need this, who have the energy and the time and the space. Like if they can swing a baton, they can literally swing a bat. Teach them cricket. Like have them even baseball. I don't even care if it's American sports, but like get them outside of the economies of distraction. We don't need any more goons. There's a story I read about these two boys who were in a football academy, and then their community land where they used to play was grabbed by a politician, and then the person who used to train them, their coach, saw them on the cover of one of the newspapers, and they were like, I used to coach these two boys. If I still had the academy and we still had the access to the community land, they probably wouldn't be goons. And that's how you realize like it's all manufactured. It's all manufactured. It's
all connected.
Yeah, there's so many opportunities we could give back to the youth where they don't have to end up in these situations. And I'm not saying it's an excuse, but if more people had places to go, things to do, we wouldn't have goons.
Definitely.
And politicians know that.
I'm glad that we've moved away from the laughter to like serious issues, because the goon activity has changed some women's lives this year. Sexual violence was also used as a weapon. It's something that was used in 2007. It's something that was used in the violence in the years before. It's something that is being used in Sudan right now. And it's something that was used on women that came to the protests at some point this year.
Yes.
To get into that topic of sexual violence and gender-based violence in general, we've seen men and women both sexually abused in the country and Kenyans outside the country. So this was transnational. But in the country specifically, those that were raped, those that were murdered, those that were sodomized, I actually thought that the case of Mombasa happened this year. So many things have happened in the year and everything seems so dark that you think everything crashed and came crashing down between 2024 and 2025. This year has been a very dark year in that aspect, Hussein.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I think I remember the femicide marches in Nairobi and across the country. GBV, I remember the issue of B&Bs, Airbnbs being used as venues for all this violence. And the statistics are worrying. I think they said out of, within the police stations, the number of criminal cases they've received, around 1/3 are gender-based violence cases, and this is a very, very worrying statistic, and it cuts across. It's not just young children or ladies or teenagers. It's everywhere. Even grandmothers are being raped and killed in Kenya. It's gotten so bad that people are now even choosing where to live based on those statistics, particularly women. Certain communities, certain areas, if you're a single woman and you want to just start your life out, you can't live by yourself. So it's really sad, and we must ask these questions. We are supposed to have a Ministry of Gender. I remember the last CS when she was appointed and she was being interviewed, her response was so embarrassing. And when she was asked about this rise in gender-based violence and what she thinks she could do, she said, but some of these girls, it's the way they dress, the way they carry themselves out that attracts.
And some of them
There's nothing like that. Yeah. And here, this is supposed to be the CS. And you are excusing, you're not even mentioning the perpetrator. You're busy describing how the victim was dressed and what and all that. So this goes to show that we have people in positions who have absolutely no understanding of what they're doing. How can you be a cabinet secretary for interior? And then you're supposed to encourage people to be going to police stations to report. If you have a problem, if you watch the Western movies and all that, the first thing they do is you dial 9, or you see a police officer, your cat is stuck in a tree, you call him to help. But you have a cabinet secretary saying, if you see anyone approaching the police station, shoot them. So where do you want us to go? Report to who? If we have a problem, tuende wapi? The president says, piga risasi ya mguu. Rex Masai, the first victim of the Gen Z protests, was shot in the leg. He died of a gunshot to the leg. He overbled and he died. And here you have a president saying, shoot in the leg. If you see someone on the, and this is why we say, in law school, you're told everyone is innocent until proven guilty by a court of law. It doesn't stop at proven guilty. It goes with by a court of law. Because you and I, you might see someone, you think they are breaking into a shop, they want to steal. But it could be that is his shop. There is a protest and he has his goods there, he doesn't want them, and he was coming and he lost his keys along the way. So he's busy trying to open so that he can get his goods out and take them to safety. It's possible. But when you're a president, you say, when you see someone doing, just shoot them. It doesn't work that way, and we must call it out as it is.
And away from that, Hussein, from what we saw in Kenya, Boniface Mwangi, Agatha Tohaire, they have the most upsetting things done to them in Tanzania. And when they come back to the country, the police, not police really, but it was the interior, I think it was the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, say that they were exporting bad manners.
I think it was Cherargei.
Yes, it was a senator,
Oh, it was Senator Cherargei, right? Yeah, and the Interior Ministry, the ministry that's
even
supposed to take care.
Even the other one who can't read, that one also.
Who are you talking about?
The guy who can't read.
Who, please?
What's his name?
Who can't read?
The guy who can't read. What's his name?
Who?
The MP who can't read.
Okay. I think you know the name, Justine. You're just going around it.
Even the MP who can't read was like, he was hyping up, he was like making it look like it was justified what happened to them, and that's very, very problematic. And it should be grounds for you to absolutely lose your seat. You shouldn't even be going back there.
Totally with you on that, And it's really horrible. In Kenya, 3 out of 5 people who were shot and killed by police were shot in the back.
So they were running away from them.
They were running away, which also means they were not, endangering the person who shot them. This person was of, 3 out of 5. This year we had 100 and what? Extrajudicial killings reported, people who die in police custody and all that. This is like the highest. And 3 out of 5 were shot from the back. So this communicates clearly that we have a culture of extrajudicial killings. It's not an accident or anything. They just take pride in shooting and killing Kenyans. Because majority of those who are killed were of no danger to anyone. They were actually even running away from you, the police officer. Why did you kill them? Because you can do it. Because the CS says shoot. Because the cabinet, the chairperson, the chairperson of the security committee says shoot and kill. Because the president says shoot Mugu. So now they're feeling like, the leadership is with us, and we are going to do this. And if you talk of Tanzania, they're also learning from us. They had Agatha, they had Boniface Mwangi. the two governments didn't say anything.
Yes.
At that time, they just remained quiet. We were the ones making noise, going to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, demanding to know what's happening and all that, but otherwise, they were not doing anything. You know, and by the time they were released, up to now, what has the Ministry of Foreign Affairs done? Has there been a protest letter? Has there been a demand for accountability? Because both Agatha and Boniface Mwangi know they are torturers. The people who put them through that, you know, very, very tumultuous period are known to them. So if the Tanzanian government, the Kenyan government were serious about it, they can easily identify them and, you know, hold them to account. But nothing.
But nothing has been done. Obviously, because it implicates the government to an extent.
It implicates the government.
It shows
the governments are working together. This cross-border repression is being entertained by our governments.
Yes.
In Kenya, Uganda, Kenyans are being picked. In Tanzania, here, Besigye was picked from here, taken there. You know, so these governments are working together, and it's about time we also worked together to push back.
Yeah, this doesn't fall away from the pattern of the government, which is always deny, and refuse to act on it. Another form of sexual violence that we've seen this year, there have been an increase in, for lack of a better word, sexual abuse to minors. And I specifically say this because African Censored published a 2-part series called The Teacher and the System, which exposed Alliance Girls High School, a teacher at Alliance Girls High School, a senior teacher at the school, of sexual violence dating back 20 years plus.
Wow.
Yes, and I think at the time we did that interview with Christine, the man was still scot-free, and he was arrested around August, I believe, or October.
And even there was...
arrested, actually.
Not arrested.
He resigned.
He had to resign.
Yeah.
And also, I remember when the girls went to protest, like the former alumni, when they were outside the school protesting, asking that the teacher should be fired, and like they shouldn't have someone like that working in a school that has girls, because like it's just perpetrating even more violence.
Yeah.
A lot of them were confronted by the police. Like the police was guarding him. And I'm like, okay, what does the Kenyan police really do? Like, where is your independence? Are you even interested in like the job that is ascribed to you? It's very strange for you to be standing with perpetrators of violence. We even saw, just to add on to like the kind of extended violence, we saw, was it last year when Collins Jumaisi disappeared from a police cell? Yeah, and like they didn't say anything about it. They said they were just looking for him. And then this year, when people started inquiring, I believe on Twitter, people were asking, where is this person? Where hasn't he been found? And then that's when they were like, oh yeah, we're going to put out a reward if you can, if you've seen him. And I'm like, okay, do you need to be reminded? Do you not have like an alarm or like an app to remind you of your job? It's very, it's a very weird place to be. Like maybe do your job just like every 3 minutes. Like maybe we could get somewhere. It's very terrifying to know as even like children are not safe in the hands of the police, or even in the vicinity of the police.
Like the young girl who was watching TV.
Yes, Bridget Joki. Yes, and also like the Butere girls who are
tear gas.
Who are tear gas because of a play. It's very, very.
Yeah, I remember that.
Terrifying.
I mean, it's just. I mean, if you ask me, the biggest letdown for us as a country at this point in time, it's the police. At least in all other institutions, other sectors, we are seeing some form of reforms. People are trying, there are efforts being made. But the police is the single institution that has completely refused to reform. They remain a regime police, orders from above, they can't do anything. And they will always, like almost 70% of the time, side with the perpetrator. Like you can't even understand, in that case, Alliance, instead of going to, beat up the protest, if you want to do your job, you want to, you don't want people to take the law into their own hands. Go to the school, take that person, put them in the police cells, say it's for your own good. But don't start now attacking, other people who are just protesting. They just want justice for their children, for themselves, and all that. And if we are able to reform the police, I think 70% of our problems will be done.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, Hussein, they're independent. The president says they're independent, and they're not a police force. They're a police
They're
service.
definitely not independent.
They're not.
If extra, you shoot 3 out of 5 people from the back.
From the back.
You're a force.
Yeah.
Definitely
You're the threat.
a force.
You're the threat.
Exactly.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Every other day, I think we follow up these cases. Almost every week, I think it was in October or November, there were people dying inside police cells. And then you hear they hang themselves. I'm like, how? In a police cell, So these are questions we need to get answers to. Yeah.
We cannot end this episode on a horrible note. There's a lot that's left to discuss. This is where we introduce sports to break the ice.
Yeah.
You understand? And Hussein, aside from being the supporter of the best club in the world, and that's United, by the way. And Justine.
Manchester United.
Take it. Me, I'm not a hater.
Exactly.
I am a Manchester United supporter, but also I can recognize the different L's that we are taking throughout the season. I can see.
You're a United fan?
Yes, but I don't talk about it because I'm
Okay.
like, Sir Alex gave me so much hope growing up. And I'm like, who are these people?
It's never
Who
too
are these people?
It's never too late
It's
to
never
brag
too-
about Sir Alex.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I hold him in such high regard, and I'm always holding back what to say because what event is this?
But we didn't win Justine, but Kenyans won. Right? Faith, keep your gun.
Yes, Faith did win.
That's a
I
nice-
was like, who? Which Kenyans are in Manchester?
No, hell no. Hopefully in future.
No. Look, maybe collaboratively, but this year has been a really good year for Kenyan athletes. Sometimes when you think the country can take everything out of you and everything feels so grim, you see Faith Kipyegon winning all these medals.
Faith Kipyegon has been brilliant. Yeah.
Absolutely. And also Beatrice Chebet had one of the most amazing runs I've ever seen from someone in her category of running. Especially middle distance races are very difficult. And she was able to set a record for, I think, the 5,000 meters. She won the 10,000 meters and 5,000 meters at the World Athletics Championship in Tokyo back to back. That's 7 days apart, just training for 2 different events, and she won both of them. I believe Emmanuel Wanyonyi also won World Athletics Track Athlete of the Year, if I'm not wrong, and his performance in the 800-meter races have been absolutely brilliant. And I think Julius Yego also made a comeback at some point.
He won a gold medal in one of the championships.
Was it a gold medal, or was it he came
Close to taking it.
Yes.
I think it was
Did he win a
gold.
gold
Could have been
medal?
bronze or silver. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think for me, this year, our football team.
Oh yeah, we almost forgot that. Jeez.
Got to quarterfinals, got themselves a few millions, and
Of their GDP.
more importantly, they mobilized the masses
Together.
behind them, and that was such a great feeling.
That was nice.
Yeah.
That was
For the
really
first
good.
time, I think got to quarterfinals.
It was a very
Yeah.
for the sports space to bring people together in that particular
particularly
way.
at that time. And of course, we had the tiff with Tanzania and buying all their tickets.
That
and
was
all
so
that.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I be honest? Tanzania currently winning, man. We got thrashed 8-0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, it was just Hiram, this was doing a performance aspect to collect the money and then just go back to their default settings.
No.
If you did that to us, how dare you? But also I understand everyone needs money, but please, can you commit? Because there's AFCON coming up, I believe, in 2027.
Yep.
And it would be really great to see Kenya represent, but I don't even think they've qualified. Did they qualify?
As host,
you get automatic qualification.
Oh, so that's why they're playing badly and losing.
There's nothing to lose, Justine.
We are hosts, so we have to be there.
Yeah. Well, this has been a very good year for sports. Honestly, as a fan of track athletes and football, I think rugby also made a comeback. They're bringing back the the
All
circuit.
days.
Like the circuit. Most people are not very supportive as they were before, but I think we need to get out there and support as many different people. We also, there was the women's team
The
also
volleyball.
did, not
Football.
the volleyball, the football, the Kenyan women's football team also did really, the Harambee Starlets also did really well, I think, for the qualifiers.
Junior starlets as well.
Yes, they've been playing really, really well. The representation in sports coming from the country has improved, but also there's ways they've been let down, because I believe the volleyball team, there's a time they traveled and then they were stuck at an airport.
Yes.
And also there's the under 15s, there's an under 15s team that went to Uganda to play a tournament, and the Ugandan government didn't allow them to travel back, and they didn't offer them accommodation. Those kids slept outside. I think this happened yesterday. And I'm like, these are 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds. Why are they sleeping outside? Like, children are a very oppressed class in this country. They really need to do better by these kids. But sometimes I feel like they're treating them this way, almost like to tell them this is where you're going to end up.
You should expect.
It's almost like they're training you for bad treatment
failure.
for the future.
But surprise, Justine, it's the Kenyan government.
It's an incompetence hazy.
Are you surprised?
Yeah.
Are you surprised? It's the
Me
Kenyan
is
government.
surprised by the government. Wow. I think I'll be surprised if like something good happens. You know, like when
When Chan went well, but it
Yes.
didn't really go well as well.
No, Chan didn't go well. Like people were outside, tickets were being resold.
Yeah, I remember.
There was a stampede. It was actually, even the police who were guarding the place were not paid.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
very
Not paid.
true.
They
Yeah,
are not
the organizing
paid.
committee.
Okay,
Yeah.
police not getting paid will never not be fine with it. But like, I think we need to have better structures that we don't have to get to this point.
Yeah.
And one of the people who was implicated was, I think, the DIG, who was like, you're the one who was in charge
Yeah, I
of this
remember that
particular
discussion,
aspect,
yeah.
and you did not pay them. And I'm like, the call is coming from inside the house. Like, you guys already are very good at confrontation. You can just walk in there and demand that you get paid, because you've already done the work. You deserve your dues.
Yeah,
And of course, we have the stadium coming up, the Talanta Stadium.
Oh no.
You know, and all the issues attached to it, the
Overpriced.
Chinese and
Yes.
the money
And
that,
the
you know.
contract itself.
Yeah, so I don't know. And then the promised stadiums, like Mombasa, where I'm from, you know.
That
Are there
it's
any done?
no.
Absolutely nothing.
blue-
It's
blue
been
metal,
years,
nothing
exactly.
else.
So
And
even the
another-
infrastructure, the sports infrastructure, in
It's
as much
horrible.
as we want our athletes to perform, but we're not giving them the necessary support.
yeah.
The
That's
equipment and
actually-
everything is completely down.
That's actually a real problem, because I remember Faith Kipyegon and Beatrice
have
Chebet, when they
training,
came back,
yes.
they were like, we don't have training facilities. I'm like, those are
World class.
celebrities, world
Nike
really-
athletes, by the way.
Yeah, and I'm also thinking, like, if you're an athlete, there's this commitment that you have to your sport. Like, you're showing up every day, you're waking up
Yeah.
at I don't know what time, you're dunking yourself in cold water, you're not eating certain foods so that you can perform at a very high level.
For your country.
Hey,
And
and
then
like
your
there's
country
no
lets you down.
training facility, really. Like, I understand all these athletes who are usually like, hey, I love this country, but bye. And then they show up in another country and they
And you're
win
like,
medals.
Kipyegon, Qatar?
Yeah.
Like,
Hey,
what do you
Winfred
mean?
Yavi, she
Yes,
runs
yes,
for Qatar.
yes.
Yeah, and I'm like, please, Winfred, go win medals
Go
for
win
them.
medals
If
for
you're gonna
them.
get protected and actually respected as a person who's contributing to the sport, absolutely, I understand people who kind of migrate
Change
to other countries, but we
nationalities,
shouldn't have to lose the amazing people we have.
We
here.
have in the country,
Yeah.
the talented ones. Now we have to wrap it up, unfortunately. Hussein, there isn't a better person to ask this question. You've been to so many postmortems of people who've been killed. You've attended burials. If I asked you how many you've attended, would you remember right now?
I don't think so,
Yeah, unfortunately.
unfortunately, but quite a number.
And still, at the same time, while all that was happening, while you're going to all these places, there's still a lot of distrust, should I say, for civil society organizations and human rights activists like yourself. Why do you think that exists?
And also,
think-
just to
yeah.
a question on top
Yeah.
of that is, why do people leave civil society to kind of like, it's like they use civil society as a pathway to politics? Why is that like a prevalent thing?
So let me start with that question. I think many politicians today started from somewhere. They were in civil service, or they're in security, and they were in journalism and many other places. So I don't think civil society should be devoid of potential politicians, if you ask me. Yeah. If someone has, that feeling, because, civil society is a very, very thankless job, being an activist, because every other day, people don't see what you're doing. They see what you're not doing or what you're doing wrong. You would go out there, you would try to help this child, and you truly feel like this child has been sodomized and all that. And then the response you get from the public, and you're truly there because you're feeling the pain of that child. You say, you want to look for donor money. Like, you're using that child for A, B, C, D. And you find that majority of the people in civil society do the things they do not because they're being paid. Yeah. A good number, it's like you volunteer. I mean, I go to work and there's nowhere in my terms of reference, it's written postmortems or attend burials or follow up on this. Most of us, it's civic education, it's human rights education, but you do it because you feel, I can go out there and tell people you have to get empowered and all that. And then here is a person who's been victimized and you're not helping them out. So it is a very, very thankless job. And sometimes people come to you and they tell you, you are pointing fingers. I remember what was this, when I was asked to join the Professor Makao Mutua compensation task force. And I said no, that I can't do that. And one of the senior persons in our society was like, you don't want to join this team. And then you're waiting for them to go and do this. And then they do it wrong. And then you come and start pointing fingers and say when you are given an opportunity to do it yourself. So this is what people in civil society, those who go to politics, they say, politics, we can go in there. We can, all these questions we're asking about these politicians, we can actually go there and do it. Why not go in? So I think that, me personally, I encourage people from civil society who want to go into politics. And I say, if you go there and you mess up, now we will even slaughter you because you know what needs to be done. Yeah. So there's this, the mistrust is, I think, across board in the whole country. We have a lot of mistrust among the population. Everyone you see is, a potential criminal or what, and you don't trust them and all that. But more importantly, I think for us in civil society, we always say, do the job. Yeah. Criticism will always be there. As long as you're clear on what you're doing, then let others, do or say what they want to say.
Yeah. On that note, Hussein, before we let you have the absolute last word, once Justine and I have wrapped up, what are 3 themes that you'd say encapsulate the year for you?
3 themes for this year.
Things that have happened that stick out.
Of course, public action. That's like number 1. We saw that, people coming out. Number 2, for me, I would say human rights and justice. It has been like, people really championed for that. And then the 3rd one would have to be women empowerment. We must have that, and we need to push that through on to next year.
Women empowerment. That's brilliant. Justine, do you have any?
Oh, the 3 things that stood out to me this year. Mine is like a long rant. Do you want to do it?
Okay, I'll let you wrap it up then, Justine. Serikali wants to hear from you. No, seriously. They are asking you through the Ministry of Treasury and the Cabinet Secretary of Treasury, John Badi, to submit your opinions, yes, you, for the National Tax Policy Proposals. This is the first step towards Finance Bill 2026. And you'll all remember that that's the most problematic / momentous occasion over the past 20 years, the 2024 Finance Bill. And they're asking you to lay the first bricks to the Finance Bill 2026. You should submit your opinions on what you think the tax policy should be in the coming year. This is what government is going to use to collect the money that you make every day through the milk you buy, the salary you earn, and even the fuel that you use on your car. You should submit your opinions, and they've given you, 2 weeks to December 31st? That's a deadline for submitting.
December 31st.
To December 31st.
They are
Yes.
hoping Kenyans are going to take a
Imagine,
break from
man,
their
like take
holidays.
for, yes.
Mad. Yeah.
Such unfortunate occurrences, by the way. But the problem is last year, for the one that came this year, for 2024, they gave a deadline of January. No, I think it was 2023 towards 2024. They gave a deadline of January, mid-January, around January 17th. So one of the problems is that they expect Kenyans to come out of their holiday to submit opinions of the tax policy, which, if I'm honest, is what you should do. But it's kind of hard, and you ask yourself why the government wants you to come off of your holiday break to send them emails. Speaking of emails, send your emails to them. That's the easiest way to send your opinions. Send it to the Treasury. And I think we'll, under this video, put which email you send it to. But send it by December 31st for consideration. Again, this is what might be considered for the Finance Bill 2026. Might not be, depending on the strength of your argument. It's important because your money is on the line. This is obviously not the only avenue for public participation before Finance Bill is tabled and approved or disapproved, but it's what gives you the opportunity to be heard. Justine?
I think having sherehe over sharia is crazy. Like you can't have people give up their sherehe to participate in sharia. Surely, give people a break. Also, my three key themes that have stood out for me throughout this year. I think the first one, mine are just emotional rants. They're not tied to anything. The first one is E Mungu, which is a warning from the opening of our national anthem. You know, people usually sing the national anthem as E Mungu nguvu yetu, like it's encouraging. It's like, no, it's E Mungu nguvu yetu, like iko, that's like the energy. Yeah, that's the energy that the national anthem is giving us. And I think we should start reconfiguring it for the times, because this year has been a very difficult emotional year, like especially if you're chronically online. If you never put your phone down, you have kind of a complex with your arm because you just want to keep catching up with whatever is going on. This has been a very, very gruesome year to keep up with Kenyan news, Kenyan politics, even just the day-to-days of like how the economy affects your life. We probably need like a mental health wellness group for the entire country. We need to just like, not the entire country, politicians excluded, but like everyday Kenyans we need like a very giant hall just to like get our emotions out, our frustrations. We can even have like certain kinds of events. We can have like an axe throwing activity. We can have like a bottle breaking thing, just like so people can really, like we need to get rid of the emotions that we've had this year and all the emotional turmoil. We need some kind of collective therapy. It's been a very difficult 2 years back to back, but this year just still advocating for the same things that really, really shattered a lot of people last year. It just makes you feel even more hopeless. It's like the bad people are winning, man. That you can't just shake the feeling that it's not just us. It's in Tanzania, it's in Uganda, it's across Africa. We even saw like right now in Nigeria, there are kids being kidnapped and like being yanked off from school, and they're being held by terrorists. Their parents are being asked to pay ransom. In South Africa, their GBV rates are absolutely horrifying. And we have, actually something good happened to Zimbabwe, so maybe they can share us good energy with us. Their farming is doing well, so I really hope like people who are doing well in certain aspects could send us their good energy, and then we can ship like some bad energy which they can throw into the ocean for us maybe. The second thing that stood out for me, like a key theme for me this year, has been community. As much as a lot of things fractured, especially with the Kenyan news, Kenyans have held each other together. We've seen for all this unfortunately, when we don't have structural reform or structural goodwill, so many people have to depend on each other, and Kenyans have really come through. Last year, it was after the protests and all these people were injured, Hanifa and like the collective people came together and like made sure that there's anyone who's in hospital is not being held there or like suffering or anything like that. But this year we saw Kaluma's story where the community came together to actually make sure that his dad was taken care of, he had the resources that he needs, but it shouldn't take such a dire situation. We saw with the cancer patients, a lot of people made noise to make sure that SHA is restructured. Apparently, the AI at SHA also works with physical files, which is something, it's just blowing my mind, because the report was filed as like physical files, and like the people who are stealing from SHA. That information should be able to pop up automatically, but apparently the printer is also there. Like there's a printer for AI that surprisingly came from from the Ministry of Health with the files of like, these are the people we're investigating. I don't know where that investigation has gone.
Documents?
AI reads, but does it print?
Yours doesn't?
AI is is it like a physical medium? Am I getting lost? Do I not know what AI is? Well, maybe it's like putting the artificial intelligence, not real. So that really, like people coming together online, on the ground, in their families, all these different spaces, and making sure that we collectively figure out how to change, how to protect each other from goons, how to, like all these things are aspects of community, and it really, really showed up this year. So that was really cool. Kenyans keep going. And even showing up for Tanzanians, like making sure that the information that they needed out, and like protecting even the people who say like, please don't, but like, please share this as a detail. That is an aspect of community. Honestly, Nyerere would be so proud of us. But the last thing I'll say is another emotion that I'm really feeling is we're in a lesson. It's a lifelong lesson. We're in the school of life, and unfortunately, this school of life, we are in it, but we've been locked in with like those giant padlocks where we have to figure out how to graduate, and we have to take each other wherever it is we're going. It's a difficult journey, but I feel like as a Kenyan, this school of life, we have a school bus, but the school bus is a matatu, bro. And the driver is corruption, and they're just doing whatever it is that they want. They're on the wrong side of the road. They're endangering everyone's lives. We are all upset about how recklessly our lives are being handled. But also, we only feel like they're changing, like the only way we can change the conductor or like someone who can get us out of here is every 5 years. So it feels very restrictive. We haven't, and in this matatu we're in, we don't even have a way to stop at Viewpoint, because if you stop there, it's just affordable housing now. Like that's what's blocking the view. And even if you need help, you need help with healthcare. If we get into some kind of accident, we're all afraid because SHA is not working. And the driver the driver is corruption. They'll ask for a kickback before they help you. So we are very, if Kenya was a book, if the whole life that we've lived in Kenya in 2020-25, at least if you're like a regular person, the life of a Kenyan in 2025, if it was a book, the book title would be like, sasa huku ni wapi? Because our collective conscience is kind of growing, but we are in there, it's very dark, and the person we are expecting to light it is Kenya Power.
Load shedding.
Yes, it feels very hopeless, but we'll find that switch. We will collectively wake up and we'll figure it out. So.
Hopefully we find that switch and we take over the mat. Because
absolutely, we will get a new driver and that's it.
Yeah, man. But Hussein, we'll let you have the last word on this one.
Yeah, I think the last 2 years, as Justine has said, have been tough. We hope that 2026 will be better, but with elections, coming around the corner, there's every chance that it will even be tougher than the last 2 years. So for me, it's to ask Kenyans to prepare themselves. Elections are coming up, and 2026 is where the year before is where all the stealing of elections, ID cards, and what everything is done. So let us be very, very, very cautious. If you look at the history of Kenya, second-term elections have always been hotly contested. There have been violence, there have been killings, whether it's during Moi's time. I think we had the tribal clashes during the second term. Whether it's Kibaki, the evening swearing in, the clashes after elections, we saw it. During Uhuru's time, the nullified elections, the repeat election, it was during the second term. So this is a second term. And this second term will be won and lost in 2026. So Kenyans, be ready, prepare to protect your vote, prepare to choose the right leaders, and particularly for Gen Zs, please go and register as a voter. That would be my parting shot.
You're the most brilliant guest, Hussein, because I didn't even have to ask you to tell us what 2026 will look like, but you did it perfectly. So I think that's the point we'll leave it at, Hussein. Asante sana for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you were
I
here.
hope we won't have to wait for another year before I'm called in again.
No.
Speed dial.
No, I think HR amesikia huko nyuma, so yeah, they'll do the thing. But asante sana Hussein and the brilliant work you're doing at Vocal Africa. That's it from us. Justine and I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and Hussein as well. Yeah. Our guest says Jibambe Manze. But enjoy your holidays and catch you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.